Hello and welcome to this week's Mastering the Markets with me, Matt. I am a senior market analyst at PrimeXBT, and today I'm going to be taking you around the platform. We're going to be deep diving into the CFDs platform as well as some trading techniques on the platform. So let's dive right into it. I'm super excited to be here and let's get into it. So as I kind of mentioned to us last week, we pretty much have quite a packed week in terms of economic events. So if you guys have not already seen, you can pretty much go through all of this data under our economic calendar. So if you would like to kind of navigate and find this, it's quite easy. You pretty much just go onto the PrimeXBT platform, click on tools. You'll see that it'll pop up with either the super charts or the economic calendar. You can then click that, which kind of brings you into here. You can then kind of see, which is quite nice, all of the sort of data points. So I kind of showed you how you can filter. If you did not see last week's live session, maybe I can just quickly show you. So you pretty much will click on here. You can choose which country you would like to view in terms of economic events and kind of meeting minutes, etc. So today we've got some exciting events coming up. We've obviously got the FOMC meeting minutes coming out later today. Now, this is quite a big one, right? We've got the Federal Reserve adjusting policy for the first time pretty much since COVID. So we're kind of trying to anticipate and forecast exactly what the interest rate cut's going to be. Currently, we've got the interest rates coming in at around 5.25%, which kind of suggests a 0.25% cut. However, the probability seems to be swinging in the favor of a 0.5% basis cut. So I'm quite eager to see what actually happens. We had the pounds inflation data come out early this morning. It came in in line with expectations as well as what was previously happening in the previous month of 2.2%. So not really much change happening there. So I'm quite keen to see what happens today, especially considering this is going to be the first time the Fed is cutting interest rates in a while. So let's keep our eyes out on that. If you guys haven't already seen, we have pretty much got a lot of new sort of market research coming out. So I'm actually bringing in some more sort of technical analysis research articles. You can find that on our platform too. So under the Learn and Research tab, you've got market research, and then you can see some of our featured research, right? So we've got obviously our normal market research that comes out weekly. And then you can kind of see I've started to bring in some more technical analysis charts where you can go through these on a daily basis, have a look and see if there's something that you are also trading, have a look at what I've done, and you can potentially either replicate it yourself or whatever it may be. But I think for the most part, let's actually dive into today's tutorial. I'm going to take us around the CFD platform as I mentioned earlier. I want to kind of show you a couple of trading view sort of techniques and indicators that I think could be of value to you. And yeah, I also want to show you how you can execute on the platform, where you can view your positions and how you can do so. So if you haven't already, you can kind of sign up. I've already got my account running, which is great. And I've got my funding that is sitting in here, but it's pretty simple to do. So if you need to deposit into your account, you can pretty much just go through this process. You can either deposit via crypto, fiat, or whatever it may be. And yeah, that's pretty much it in a summary. And then remember what I kind of said last week. Now, the money will come into your account, but then it sits in your wallet address, right? So in order for you to trade it on your account, similar to how I explained on the future side of things, you're going to have to make a transfer. So if you have a look here, right? So here you'll have your balance, which will kind of tell you pretty much everything that you've either deposited into the account, whether it be Bitcoin, USD Tether, or fiat currency, for example. And then pretty much what you're going to need to do is transfer it, right? So there's a little icon here that says transfer. So let's say today I want to transfer some of my USD Tether. I will click on the word transfer. It then says, okay, cool, it's coming from this wallet address. Now you need to select where it's going, right? So if I click on the section here that says to, you can pretty much then see that we have a couple of options. So for today, we're going to do CFD trading. So I'm not really interested in moving it into my futures platform. So I'll select that. I will put in the amount that I want to kind of put through, which let's say we do $1,000 today. Boom, then the funding will go through. And then pretty much you click on this button that says trade, and you will then be able to see, okay, cool, you've got two options, right? Your first option is your CFD trading. The second option is crypto futures. So we want to go through the CFD trading side of things. So I can click on that. Boom, then you'll see now your account balance will sit up here with the amount of equity that you have in, your available margin, etc. But we'll come back to this. So this is kind of the end step where I'm going to come and execute some trades just now to show you how it can be done. But let's go one step back. So you know how I like to kind of deep dive into sort of assets on the trading view integration side of things. First, I want to kind of go through some indicators that I think could be of use to you. I want to kind of go through an asset that I'm interested in, namely gold. And I want to show you how you can do this on the platform too. So let's just kind of go one step back. So as I might have shown you originally, in terms of if you want to learn how to set up your indicators as well as your charting colors to maybe make them different colors, then you can pretty much do all of that under the settings side of things. So you've obviously got your canvas, scales, status line, symbol, etc. You can come and fiddle around with that. If you want a more in-depth tutorial, I kind of did one a little bit on this last week, so feel free to go watch that video. But for today, I want to kind of go a little bit deeper. I want to look into some price action techniques. I want to look into some indicators that we want to potentially bring in. So as I showed last week, I've already got my fractals indicator as well as my 50 EMA drawn up here, which is quite nice. So if you want to add in any indicators, you simply just press on the indicators section, super simple. And we've got a whole range of indicators that you can come and add in. So for today's example, I would like to actually add in the relative strength indicator or index, which is kind of referred to as the RSI. Maybe some of you guys already know about that. I think it's quite a cool tool to bring in. So you simply click on it, and then if you click on this little drop down box over here, you'll be able to see the tool that says RSI. You can then go fiddle with the settings. So let's say, for example, you want to change the color, you want to maybe change the inputs, etc. You can do so here. I think it's quite nice. And then, yeah, you've obviously got your default settings, which is kind of between the 70% level, 50, and then obviously 30. So maybe if you didn't really know what this RSI indicator does, when you kind of are breaching these levels around, say, 70%, it's kind of indicating that maybe something is overbought or oversold. So the same can be said for the 30% level. So in this scenario here, we've got it kind of tapping into the 70% level. So this would be indicating to me that maybe potentially price is overbought currently. So maybe we're going to get some sort of cool off in price action until sort of this line kind of normalizes back down. So you can kind of see how this EMA follows in alignment with this RSI indicator, which I think is quite cool, right? So this is pretty much what I'm looking at on gold right now. We obviously had price action trading into all-time highs recently as of pretty much last week. I thought it was quite an interesting asset to go through today, especially considering, you know, gold trades really well during an interest rate cut environment, and we are going to potentially enter into this quantitative easing cycle now with the Federal Reserve. So there are going to be more interest rate cuts coming in. So I'm quite keen to see how gold trades in these scenarios, considering it's already at all-time highs without us having really any interest rate cuts at all. So it's going to be quite key to see how that unfolds. But yeah, I think let's see for the most part what we can potentially look into trading today and how I can show you how to do it on the CFD's platform, obviously. So if you have a look here, right, so let's just go back a couple of days. This is pretty much around July's sort of price action. You can kind of see how we were making new highs, lower highs, and then we were kind of trading up pretty much into this new all-time high that we sit now currently. You can kind of see how we would have had some support and resistance levels. So for example, here, I thought this was quite a nice one, right? We had some nice support that hold here. We then kind of broke above it, retested it as resistance, and we've pretty much kind of rejected that area since. And that's where we pretty much shot up into new all-time highs. So this is something that I think is quite like a key level to keep your eyes out on. If we do decide to kind of pull back into this area, see how it reacts. We've obviously also got this 50 EMA that's kind of pulling in here too. So if anything, you know, we would want to see how price holds in this area, and does it kind of react and go higher again, or does it maybe tend to fall down into lower support regions, right? So this is quite a nice area that I have marked up on the daily. I'm quite high in terms of the high time frame, but I will drop down onto, say, the 4-hour and 1 hour as well, and we can kind of deep dive a little bit more into it. Right, so if anything here, we've kind of got structure pretty much telling us that these were some significant highs over here. We broke that in alignment with support, right? We came back, tested it, and then we've kind of shot up higher again, right? So we had support or resistance now that is pretty much turned into support. So it's quite a nice sort of level. I would definitely keep my eyes on this, and it kind of ties in with that $2,500 region in any case. So yeah, that's pretty much one area from a sort of support and resistance area that I'm quite interested in. Then if I had to mark out, say, these highs and lows, so for example, let's just say that this was my, I'm going to go with this one right here. So this was my low before we broke this, right? So if I mark that out like that, you can pretty much see we've got that nice level sitting at around $2,363. And then let's say that this is our new high. So, you know, we've got the RSI indicator potentially telling us that price has been overbought into this area now. Remember, we're trading into kind of, you know, new price discovery ranges too. So we don't actually know where price is going to maybe potentially reject or retrace from, but at the same time, we can kind of figure out where price might go to from here. Obviously, we've got the FOMC meeting minutes later today, so we might continue to just trade higher. But I think in terms of looking for discounted areas and maybe price to kind of retrace before going higher, I would definitely be looking into something like this. I will use my Fibonacci tool, mark out the high and the low. So if you weren't on our stream last week, I kind of deep dived into how you can set this up. It's really simple. You pretty much go onto either your tools section on the side here. You can choose, do I want to add in a Fibonacci tool? Do I want to add in fib retracements, channels, whatever it may be? There's a whole lot of nice indicators here that you can use from a tools perspective to do your drawings and markups. And then obviously you've got your indicators too. So if you have a look here now, this is quite an interesting one, right? You've got your high over here and your low over here. You've got this resistance area that then turned into support, and that pretty much lines up with this 50% Fibonacci level. So let's call it around $2,477, right? So I think that this is quite a key area. If you know, we get sort of an overreaction from price today, maybe we see some sort of dip back down into here before trading higher. So I'd be quite keen to see if we can get some sort of potential buy limits executed in this area. So how would I do that? Right now, that's what I'm here to show you. So on the CFD platform, it's pretty simple. So I just want to kind of maybe drop down a bit onto, say, the 4-hour, and let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, there's a bit more clearer price action here in terms of where your high and your low was. You can pretty much see how we kind of rejected this nicely once, twice, and then continued higher. And for the most part, if you had to draw some sort of trend line on this, you would also pretty much see that that would kind of be, you know, your sort of trend for this moment in time. So that is quite a key area. If I was looking to potentially buy something down here, I've got my long and short position tool that's already marked out. So you could pretty much do something similar. If I had to just quickly change the color of this so that you can see, that would be my stop out color. Let's make it red. I'll just change it like that. And then my target color would be, say, blue. You can see now, if I was looking to potentially go long here and I wanted to set some limits below that level and maybe say trading higher, that would be pretty much what I would be looking at, right? So I'm quite keen to see how price maybe reacts when we get down here. We are on the daily time frame, so it might take a couple of days before we even get to this area, but this is quite a nice area, and I want to show you how you can execute this on the CFD's platform. So you click over here on the trading section where it says CFD trading. You can click on into it. Now you'll see that the terminal looks like this. It's a little bit different to the futures platform, but for the most part, it's pretty much got everything that you need in terms of how you can execute on it. So you'll see your balance, you've got your charts, you've got trading, you've got your trading history, as well as your activity log. So I'll go back onto trade because it's like my trade terminal where I can execute positions. And then if you have a look above where it says symbol, right, you've got something that says Forex now. I'm not sure if this will say the same for you, but you can pretty much click on it. You'll see then you've got all markets, which will kind of show you every single asset that you can trade on the platform. from the CFD's terminal side of things. And then if you click on the CFD section, you'll get a summary of pretty much the commodities that we have to offer as well as the indices. So remember, gold is a commodity. So I'm going to come in here just now and show you how you can execute on it. If you would like to obviously execute a crypto position, you can also do that here too. And then you've obviously got Forex too, which you can kind of come, but we'll save those for tutorials later on. Today, I'm quite interested to execute on gold, which sits in the CFDs drop down, if you want to call it that. So it's pretty easy. You just double click on it. It should bring it up like this. It will now have your chart. It will show you the current price that we're trading. You've obviously got some volume indicators and MACD indicators in here too. If this is something you might want to potentially remove, you simply just click on this button here. It will then have all the different sort of indicators that you might want to add in. So for today, I want to maybe take out the MACD. I just click exit. Let's say, for example, I want to add in the RSI, relative strength index. I just type it in and then you drag it over into this side. I click done. You'll then be able to see now I've got my RSI. So it's pretty much the same thing how in terms of how you want to add it in. You can see I'm on the 5-minute time frame. So if I flick out to the daily now, it'll look similar to how the trading view chart looked earlier. And yeah, that's pretty much how you can kind of adjust things over here. If you want to add some widgets in, or maybe you want to add some widgets out, you can click over here where there is a big plus sign next to your account. It'll show you, okay, you've got chart, watch list, dashboard, whatever it may be. Let's say, for example, I want to add in another dashboard, right? I click on it, I click exit. Now you can see over here, I've got it saying dashboard. If I don't want the dashboard in anymore, I can just click exit, right? So I like to keep my positions here as well as my orders and then any trades that I've taken. So I kind of have a little bit of a track record as to what I'm looking at as well as what I'm trading and what I'm doing on a daily basis. And it's pretty simple, right? So let's say, for example, we want to go back into our analysis section, right? And I want to just get the figures of a potential long position. So this would be a limit order that I would need to set. So this would be around, say, $2,477 with a stop loss at around $2,359. So if I want to do that, I click back into this level here. I don't want to buy at this level. I would like to put down a market order of some sort. So if I go over here, let's say I click buy, then it says new order, right? If I wanted to execute at this current price, then I would leave my order type as market. I don't want to do that. I want to set a limit. So basically the same as what I was explaining last week was if price comes down to a certain level, I want to buy in from that level pretty much, if that summarizes it well. So I will click on this drop down. I will then either have the option to do a limit order, a stop order, or whatever it may be. I would like to do a limit order. So now to say, okay, cool. Do you want to buy or you want to sell? Remember, we want to buy in this scenario. So what price do I want to buy in? So this is pretty much that level of 2477 that I said I would like to buy in. I can click send order. So if you have a look here where it says place stop loss and take profit, maybe let's say, for example, you want to just toggle back and see if your trade is at the actual price that you want to set this limit at. You can simply send the order, right? It will say you've got no stop loss or no take profit set. That's fine because I know that the price action is not there right now. I go confirm. Then you can see it will sit in my orders section just to the left of where it says positions. Then if you double click on it, you can come and modify it, right? So if I want to modify this now and I want to go extract my stop loss position, I'll go back into my analysis section. I'll see here, okay, let's say I want to trade a 2-to-1. So it'll be something like that. Then you can have a look here. My stop loss would be around 2359 and my take profit would be, call it 2,700. So if I want to go back into the CFD platform, I double click on where I had an order. I then click where it says place stop loss. Now you can see it brings up the function. Okay, cool. What price do you want to get stopped out? So remember, we want to get stopped at around 2379, something like that. And let's say I want my take profit to be around 2,700. So now you'll see, okay, it'll say your projected loss is going to be $489 if I do this. and my projected take profit would be around $1,000 if I do this, right? So maybe let's say that this is too much for you, this is too high, then I can come over here and I can come and change the market order. So if I change it, you will see then it automatically calculates your stop loss as well as your projected profit or loss, whatever it may be. So this is quite an easy function to use. Maybe you're not really too familiar with calculating your risk to reward. That's why I kind of use the trading view analysis side of things. You can use that, build it into your sort of charts, bring it around, and then you can kind of work out your position sizing, etc. like that. So let's say I want to bump it up. I want to make it 10. Now you can see, okay, cool. If I enter this position, I'm going to lose $900. And if I win it, I will make $2,000. So let's say I want to keep it to 5. Then I will go cool, edit and replace, because remember this was an order that I already set. So now I need to edit the order. I click confirm. And now you can see if I go back into this order, you will see that it has a stop loss set as well as a take profit, right? Now that means that the order is done. It's perfectly fine. So that would be in terms of, let's say I wanted to buy at a limit area in terms of if price action ever had to get back down there. You can now see that my limit order is sitting here and I've obviously got my stop loss and my take profit already set. So that's fine. If I wanted to market execute something and I wanted to buy something right on the spot, then you pretty much would click on the same function. So let's say for today's example, we had the idea or the bias that we might be sitting in an overbought scenario. So potentially looking for a pullback in price to then go higher. Then I can click on where it says sell. Now, remember, I want to show you potentially what a market order would look like. So if I click sell, send order, it's going to put the execution order straight away through. So maybe you want to double check some things, right? So let's say, for example, I want to go back into my analysis section now. So I've shown you now how you can potentially set a buy limit scenario, but let's say we wanted to drop down onto, say, the 4-hour or the hourly time frame and potentially look at entering in a short position. Then I would do something like this. So I would have my market execute order looking like this, and then I would need to select my sell position, so it'll look something like that. And then let's say I want to give price a bit of breathing room. So let's say I want to kind of trade it back into that level of around $2,484, right? So then I would look for some sort of 2-to-1 risk to reward. Let's say it's around there, so let's call it 2,650. So if I wanted to market execute this now, I would go and I would input my details based on this tooling. This tool gives me my stop out position over there, and if you have a look on the blue section over here, it tells me my take profit level, right? So I'm going to enter this order now just as an example, and I'm going to have my stop at 2,623. So I'll go back onto the CFD's platform. I want to sell, I don't want to buy in this scenario. Let's just say I want to sell 3 lots in this example. Then I can place a stop loss. So I can click on it. I want my stop loss to be, let's say, around 2,620. Then you'll see it'll tell you what your projected loss is. So this is automatically calculating this for you based on what price action is doing. So let's say I say send order. I go confirm. Cool. Now you can see, now my position is running. It's active. I've got my order filled. Remember, when you're doing the limit side of things, it's a limit entry, right? So it's not necessarily executed or running live. It's just sitting as a pending order that you can either go modify or cancel at any given point in time by simply just clicking on the button. So in this scenario where we've now got a market execution position running live, you can now see, okay, cool. My position is gold. I've sold it at this level, 2,577. You can see that current price is here. This is my estimated profit and loss, currently running under, say, -$1. If I then look over here, you can see it says I've got a stop loss in place of 2,620, which is great. I don't have a take profit though. So let's go back into my analysis section. I go have a look now. If you have a look here, my take profit was around 2,483 per this tool. So then I would go back onto the platform over here. I simply just click it again. I click this little tick box that allows me to enter an input, right? And then I can pretty much go and collectively add in the order. So let's say, for example, I'm trading this back down to $2,420. Now it'll tell me that this is going to be my projected profit and that will be my projected loss. So basically what that means is when price eventually gets down to that area, the trading platform will execute out of the position for me automatically. So I'll no longer be in the position, and whether I banked a profit or whether I banked a loss, that will automatically be closed on my behalf, right? If you don't want to trade like that, that's fine. But however, I suggest you always kind of build in these risk parameters so that if price does start to trade against you or go in favor of, say, the opposite side in which you're trading, you don't necessarily want to be holding these positions where you are in a drawdown and you cannot get out of it, and you say sort of waiting for price to swing back into your favor. Rather, just protect yourself at all times. Use your analysis section on the trading view side of things. Use the tooling into your advantage, because that's going to help you a lot. That's going to help you understand how to get into positions, how to manage your risk, etc. So let's say, for example, I don't want to be in this position anymore. I potentially think that later on there's going to be a lot of volatility due to the FOMC meeting minutes, etc. Then I just close it. It's really simple. I just click on this button that says X over here. It's going to ask me, do I want to close this position? So if you would like to, let's say, for example, you don't want to close the full position, you can modify that, right? So where you have here amount to close, you can pretty much choose if I want to, let's say I don't want to sell out of my whole position. Let's say I've entered 3 lots now and I only want to close half. I simply then just press 1.5. So then it'll tell me, oh, okay, cool. I'm only going to close 1.5 out of the 3 lots of my current position, which means then I will have only 1.5 lots remaining. So remember, currently we're running a 3 lot position. If I close this and I go confirm, you'll see now that half of the position is gone. And now my size is, I've cut my size down, right? So if you cut your size down, that means you also cut down your risk, right? So if price then trades against you higher, then previously you might have been stopped out for say $200, but because I've shaved my lot size down, now I'm only going to get stopped out for say $100, right? So that's just an example. If you wanted to maybe take some partials or take some profit along the way, that's how you can modify your position. It's super easy. If you want to fully get out of the position completely, you can go over here where it says X again, and then you can simply close the remaining position and go confirm. Boom. It'll then tell you your orders are now out. They've been filled. So for example, now you can have a look at my positions tool over here. I don't actually have anything running now, right? So that's pretty much how you would do a sell scenario. And if you were wanting to buy, it's pretty much the opposite of that, right? So it's not too complicated. The platform's super easy to understand. You can obviously play around with how you want your widgets to look. So for example, let's say you want to go in the chart section and you want to have more of a terminal look and you want to sort of track, many sort of assets on a day. You can click on this one that says charts over here, which is quite nice. And then let's say, for example, you want to check out your trading history. So here's a couple of examples that I was showing you now where we got closed out. So remember, this is quite cool. So you've obviously got that original position that tells you you sold 3 lots. Now, don't get too confused when it says buy and buy again, because remember, I was just closing out half of my position. And because I was selling with the market, I need someone to buy my sell positions from me. So it's not necessarily that you were in a buy position. It's more just someone had to be on the opposite side of you to get out of that position. Hence why it will say buy. Maybe for in this scenario, you weren't buying, you were actually just selling. So that's pretty much how it works in a nutshell. You can then obviously see your activity log. It'll tell you all your orders, whether you were filled, whether your order was canceled, whether it was placed, whatever it may be. So that's quite nice. And then obviously, depending on whether you're making money or whether you're losing money, it'll affect your balance, right? So let's say, for example, now I posted around, say, $3,000 in my account at the beginning of this tutorial. Now my balance has come down a bit. Now, that's because I took some losses in those tutorials where I was showing you, right? So the opposite can be said if you're making money. When you're making money, your balance is going to go up. So you'll see that in your equity and your balance section over here. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how the CFD's platform works. It's really easy to use. If you want to add in some widgets, so for example, let's say you go on the trade section over here, or let's say you've got your charts and you want to see your positions running, then you can click on this that says positions over here. Now you'll see, okay, cool. I've got a positions open here, and let's say for example I wanted to go back onto gold over here, it will then pop up like this. And let's just say for tutorial purposes I wanted to execute another position to buy. I would send it, go confirm, and now all of a sudden I can see those same positions sitting over here. And the same way you want to maybe potentially get out the position, you just close it like that too. So it's really easy to use. Maybe you don't want all of these charts in here, then you can just simply get rid of them. And obviously with the plus button, you can bring in a watch list or whatever it may be. So it's quite nice. You can also then move it around depending on where you want it to sit, and you can kind of play with the function like that. So yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell how the CFD platform works. I think it's a really cool platform to use as in terms of, you know, calculating your positions as well as your sizing, your tools, etc. It's kind of an all-for-one. If you haven't already seen, we obviously have all of our contests and rewards running. So as I showed you previously, you can come over into this little gift box that has like a little purple icon next to the deposit symbol. You can then go and see, okay, cool, remember last week I hadn't really made much trading volume, but if you have a look now, I've traded, let's say 56,000 out of the $100,000 worth of volume I needed to trade. So I'm getting closer to that one step of me accessing this reward. And then once that reward is there for you to claim, you can claim it. It will go back into your main balance account, and you can use that funding to trade again or whatever it may be. So I think it's quite a valuable tool. There's obviously also the welcome bonuses if this is the first time you're signing up to the platform, and you can redeem these rewards here too. We obviously then also have all of our contests. So if there are any contests that you want to get involved in, maybe it's CFDs trading, maybe it's cryptos trading, you can simply just go and join these. It's all demo simulated, so they will run these contests in terms of a time period, and then at the end of it you can see how you did, and you can win obviously prizes and redeem some rewards, etc. from there too. So for the most part, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the live. From next week, we're going to do some more execution positions, a lot more on the fly. I've kind of given you a bit of a breakdown on terms of how you can run a position on your CFDs platform, as well as how you can run on your cryptos futures platform. I've also showed you how you can use TradingView. So if there's any questions that you might have in terms of it, just feel free to pop them in the chat, and I can get back to you in terms of responses whenever I can. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So let's see what the Fed has to say at the FOMC meeting minutes later. And thank you for now, and I'll see you in next week's stream.